We are going to tell a story with this blue deck of cards and your red deck of cards, Clara. Now, the only thing I'll tell you about this story before we begin is that it's completely true, and by the end, you will know that it's true. And the story goes like this. He believed in fate. She didn't. She wasn't even supposed to be in the restaurant that night, but something drew her there so they could meet. Now, I've got this blue deck of cards, and I would like you to take the blue deck, shuffle them up. When you're done shuffling them, give them some cuts, and I will do the same with this red deck of cards. Whoa. That is some serious shuffling going on here. Are you a poker addict or?
You caught me.
Yeah, okay, good. So when you're done shuffling, just give them some cuts in your hands. That's good. Here's the story. In 1977, there was this man in Canton, Ohio, and he decided to go to his favorite restaurant. But when he got there on this particular night, he found, unusually, that it was packed. He had to circle around the parking lot 3 times before he could finally find a place to park. He goes inside once he's parked, and he gets in line. Meanwhile, across town, there's a woman, stranger to him, but she's decided to go out with friends that night, so she's called a taxi. But on this particular night, the taxi's running late. For any millennials in the crowd, taxis like Lyft, Via, Uber, something like that. But on this particular night, the taxi is running late. And the reason the taxi is running late is because he stopped for a coffee. But the taxi driver got the coffee and it was too hot to drink, so he puts it in the cup holder of his car. So our story has just 2 characters. A guy at the back of the line in the Dutch pantry, and a woman, a stranger, sitting in her parlor watching the seconds tick by, smoothing the wrinkles out of her white linen dress, waiting for her evening to start. Finally, the taxi arrives, she gets in, and off they go. Now, Claire, you've shuffled up that blue deck, I've shuffled up this deck of cards. I want you to spread through the deck like this, and I want you to get a feeling on a card. I have no idea what card that will be or how you'll get a feeling, but when you get a feeling, just set the card down without looking at it. Good. And of course, you don't know what that is, and you don't know what that card is, right? And we're going to look at these cards, but not now. We're going to look at these cards in exactly 2 minutes, when hopefully it means something. You don't have a pocket on your shirt, so I would like you to take that card and put it under your shoe. I'll place mine in my pocket. Good. And now, please, keep shuffling. All right. So here's the story. A woman's in the back of the taxi, and the taxi's speeding down the road when all of a sudden the light changes from yellow to red. The taxi driver slams on the brakes, coffee goes everywhere, all over this woman's white linen dress. So she says, "Stop the car, I have to fix this." Taxi driver says, "Okay, fine." Stops the car, she gets out and she wanders off into the night. Now everybody watch this. That's the last time I change the order of these cards. I am not going to touch them again. And now I would like you to do the same thing. Place the cards there and give them 1 cut and let everybody watch you do it. And complete it. Claire, do you want to cut them one more time?
No.
No.
Stick with it.
All right, good. Let's start with these cards. There's some people sitting far away. Can you verify that these cards are not in numerical order or in new deck order or separated by color? They are really mixed up.
Yeah.
Would you square them up and put them face down in front of you? And let's check and see how you did. I want to give people a chance to see here. Yeah, that looks good to me. Look good to you? Good. So, here's how the story ends. This woman's walking down the street. She comes upon the first place that's open, the Dutch pantry. She goes inside, she opens these 2 double doors, and she runs into him. And he laughs at her because she's covered in coffee, but then they talk for 5 minutes. And 5 minutes turns into an hour, turns into 2 hours, turns into a date the next night. And these 2 people ended up spending their whole lives together. And when that man would tell me the story, he would always explain that he believed in fate. But she didn't. She wasn't even supposed to be in the restaurant that night, but something drew her there so they could meet. Claire, would you turn over that card?
Oh my God.
Now, the thing is, whenever I see this, and I don't mean this as in a card trick, I mean a coincidence of any kind of weird coincidence, the first thing I think is like, what happens if one thing had happened differently, right? I mean, you watched me cut the cards. What if I cut one card more or one card less? You watched Claire cut. What if she cut one more or shuffled into a different order? Well, then the trick doesn't work. And that makes you wonder, what happens if the coffee wasn't too hot? Or the light didn't change at that exact second, or the parking lot wasn't crowded? Well, I can tell you for certain, it means these two strangers would never have met, never fallen in love, never gotten married, never had a kid. And when that kid was 6 years old, his dad would have never shown him his first card trick, and then I wouldn't be on this floor telling you this story. I swear to God, this is the true story of how my parents met. This was my bedtime story till I was like 14. But it is a true story, and all these seemingly inconsequential events had to happen in exactly a certain order for me to even be alive, let alone into magic. Now, Claire, I promised I would not touch those cards. So would you pick up that deck? And would you deal that 5 of diamonds right there? Yeah. And would you take the next card, whatever it is, and would you deal that card up? Are you ready to deal with me?
Yeah,
Deal as fast as you can. Every card in this deck, every single card in this deck, and I do mean every single card. Look, every single card. That's the Queen of Hearts. That's the 7 of Hearts. That's the 3 of Diamonds, 8 of Spades, Ace of Hearts, Queen of Diamonds, 5 of Spades, Ace 3, 9, 6, 2, all the way down to King of Spades, 9 of Hearts, 2 of Spades, 3 of Clubs, 6 of Hearts. Every single card in that deck, a purple.
Wow.
Yeah, well done. But I know what you're thinking. You're all thinking, yeah, but that's all probably just luck. I'll tell you something that's not luck. At the very beginning, when you were shuffling up the cards, I asked you to stop on a card that felt different, like it felt like it could be important. And I did the same. Take that card out now. You see, this part isn't luck. This part isn't chance. I'd like to believe that this part is fate.
Oh